If you're looking to get into investment or just want to know more about finance and maybe the history of the field, I thought I'd go through some of my favourite books on this topic. I'll just quickly share what they're about and how I think they set a good foundation. These books all approach the domain of finance from totally different perspectives, and all of them I would highly recommend. So the first book is The Predator's Ball by Connie Bruck. This is a fascinating story of Wall Street during the 80s. Bruck goes through the hostile takeover era, and you'll see some really intriguing characters. If you want to read a great story about corporate raiding and junk bonds, then this is a great little book. Next up we have Liar's Poker, Michael Lewis's first best-selling book. Of course, he's written a lot now. This kind of memoir-ish goes through Lewis's time as a bond salesman on Wall Street. I think it gives a really interesting and really entertaining first-person perspective on the personalities of traders in the 80s. Now, if you want to get into investing, One Up on Wall Street by Peter Lynch is a great starting point. Lynch is one of the most successful mutual fund managers, and in his book he shares his personal investment style. It covers a huge range of practical advice on how to get into picking stocks. This book I read a while ago. It's A Random Walk Down Wall Street by Burton Malkiel. He's a famous economist. The book's been around a while. It's a bit more complex, but basically talks about this efficient market theory where it's almost impossible to make predictions in the market. It's quite different to Peter Lynch's approach, so it gives a good balance of ideas, but they tend to lend themselves more to index fund investing. This author, Tony Robbins, you probably know more for his kind of personal development stuff, but he takes a great stride into the financial area with Money, Master the Game. With his access to some super influential people, he's able to sit down with some of the best investors of our time, and I think this book does a really great job of distilling the wisdom of these people into a comprehensive and actionable guide. This next book is often referred to as the Bible of value investing. It's Benjamin Graham's The Intelligent Investor. If you know anything about Warren Buffett, he often talks about how influential Graham, and in particular this book, was to him. It is a slow read though, so be prepared. Something quite different, and definitely a leap in complexity, is The Misbehavior of Markets by Benoit Mandelbrot. This book attempts to show how markets are fractal rather than continuous, and you'll learn what that means in the book. It's a different perspective from some of the previous books, and it leans more into financial mathematics. You'll learn how price fluctuations in markets are not always independent from one time period to the next. This book's totally different, and is quite popular at the moment. It's Morgan Housel's The Psychology of Money, and it looks at more into the emotional side of finance, talks about our rational behaviors and things that influence our financial decisions. Housel offers some valuable lessons in managing money and understanding the quirks of our money psychology. The Man Who Solved the Market by Gregory Zuckerman. This book takes us inside the secret investment world run by Jim Simons and his firm Renaissance Technologies. It's an account of how this mathematician and his team used algorithms to outperform the more traditional Wall Street strategies. If you want to read a good story on quant-based trading, then this is your book. Now let's take a look at Debt, the First 5,000 Years by David Graeber. This is actually a really beautiful book, and I really like the design. The book itself is a thought-provoking view on the history and impact of debt on society. This book is a bit of a curveball in the collection, as it questions a lot of the free market and capitalist ideas that form investment and finance. But I don't think you can get to where we are to today without debt. And I think knowing its history and the implications it's had socially, culturally, politically, they're all worth learning about in the context of the series. And I think it's a good read for a more balanced perspective. Sebastian Mallaby's More Money Than God offers a high-level overview of the history of hedge funds, as well as some general market history. It's about as entertaining as possible for a book about hedge funds, and you'll find the characters and strategies make for a great read. A second book by Mallaby is The Man Who Knew. This is a biography of Alan Greenspan, as well as of the whole financial era. If you don't know who that is, he was the former chairman of the Federal Reserve. This book is super accessible, and it takes you through Greenspan's life, his economic philosophy, and his role in shaping US policy. This one's a bit controversial. This is James Rickard's Aftermath. It's a cautionary tale of how the economy can go really wrong and how an investor could protect themselves in the event of economic crisis. Back to Tony Robbins, and I should have included this with his other book, as Unshakeable is really just a distilled, more approachable companion to the book. You'll see an endorsement from Alan Greenspan. Again, in the book, he offers some really good insights on achieving financial security and how to invest in turbulent times, and I think it's a good one to pick up if you don't want to read the 600-page Money Master the Game. The Changing World Order by Ray Dalio. Ray Dalio is the founder of a fund called Bridgewater. It's one of the most successful investment companies of our time. I think it's the largest fund. There's a few really good books by Ray Dalio where he talks about the principles that he uses to manage the fund, but in this one he shares his insights on current economic patterns, how we can measure and predict long and short cycles that kind of make up the history of world orders. He has an incredible understanding of economics, geopolitics, and this will give you a totally new perspective on the current state of the world. Now, this book is not strictly an investing book, but it is written by one of my favorite investors. The book is Soul in the Game, and it's a collection of musings by Vitaly Katzel-Nelson. The book's a take on Skin in the Game by Nassim Taleb, who you'll see a recommendation of on the back, as well as Morgan Housel, who we've seen before. There's also a number of great authors on the back that recommend the book. The book itself offers a unique view not only on investing, but more on life, how to live it well, how to make the most of it. There's a ton of wisdom in the book and life lessons from Vitaly, and it's a great, simple read. He writes really well. I would also recommend his email newsletter. The last book in the series is a recent read and newer publication. It's How to Invest by David Rubenstein. The book is basically a compilation of interviews with some incredible investors, and some you'll recognize from the other books. It's a really good one to read to get a sampling of different investment domains, and a great place to start. I think it gives some insight into all the options within the investing world. Rubenstein's a great journalist, and the book comes across super accessible and enjoyable. So that's it, a short look into some of my favorite investment and finance books. I hope you found a book to get you started or one that piques your interest. I hope you enjoy the read as much as I did. So thanks for watching.